Oil prices on Monday hit their highest level in more than 7 years on fears that a possible invasion of Ukraine by Russia could trigger US and EU sanctions. This would in turn disrupt exports from Russia in a market that's already very tight. Comments from the United States, an attack is imminent, have also rattled global financial markets. According to some analysts, if troop movement were to happen, Brent crude wouldn't have any trouble rallying above the $100 level. Simultaneously, investors are also watching talks between world powers and Iran to revive the 2015 nuclear deal. For more on this now, let's go to Dr. Yousef Alshammari, who is the CEO of CMarkits. Many thanks for being with us today. First of all, what are the actual risks of disruptions in Russian supplies in case of a conflict in Ukraine? How worried are you really?
Very pleased to join you. Well, as we can see, the Brent and oil prices in general have been on a rally over the past couple of weeks, given the geopolitical risk premium. And I hear the things that keep me worried most, actually, is the both oil and gas supplies coming out from Russia. So Russia essentially produces more than 10 million barrels of oil a day, and its exports exceeding 4 million barrels of oil a day, mainly going to China and Europe and other countries around the world. So if we have any kind of military intervention from Russia on Ukraine, I would possibly see the energy supplies going out from Russia at risk. And that's really what can affect both oil and gas prices, because even if we have any disruption in gas supplies, that could lead to more oil demand, and that could also have a knock-on effect on the continued rise in prices that we're seeing today. So basically, we see this as kind of the most extreme scenario that can lead prices to $100 a barrel.
But in order to counterbalance this disruption, I mean, some analysts expect the US to actually urge oil-producing countries to maximize their output as much as they can. How can this be reconciled, though, with long-term objectives to reduce dependence on fossil fuels?
Well, there has been a very ambitious policy given the current U.S. administration since Biden came to office, which is to achieve the net zero carbon by many countries by the year 2050. But we need to move on in a kind of smooth manner. That transition to alternative source of energy has to take place in a balanced manner, in a way that doesn't affect our energy security. So that's the first objective. The second objective, when we call for more oil supply, that extra oil has to be associated with so-called carbon capture or so-called circular carbon economy, in a way that we use oil for transport or other alternative sources of energy, and at the same time we are removing all the carbon and converting it to something useful. So I think this is the current most sustainable and feasible scenario that we can achieve from now until 2030 and 2040, until alternative sources of energy are fully ready to replace oil and gas, basically. And I think here the dependence on oil and gas, as if we decide just to move to alternatives without investing in oil and gas, then we really are compromising our energy security, and that can send oil prices skyrocketing. Look at what's happening now. One major reason why oil prices are rising is because of the lack of investments. The US, for example, and the United States, they are not pumping more oil, they are not investing to pump more oil. Their production is below the pre-pandemic level. And this is a major reason why we're seeing prices almost going to $100 under all these market risks that are currently happening.
Absolutely. Many thanks for this analysis, for being with us today, Dr. Yousef Alshammari. And now to other